Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beautifully Bruised in the CPS show. My name is Latrika Jones. I am so happy that you decided to join us today. We really have a lot in store for you today. I have a special guest that's going to be joining me, and she is actually a CPS caseworker. Yes, that's what I said. She's actually someone that is seasoned, highly experienced with working with CPS cases. Actually, she does have a long bio of a lot of different things that she's involved in within her community, as well as being a licensed. She works in counseling as well. So she gets to see both sides of the spectrum from working for CPS, Child Protective Services, as well as being a licensed counselor, including, I do believe that it's something just as more valuable is that she's also a minister. So I wanted to be able to share on my show a positive light. You know, it's so much negativity that's going in the world today. I think it's highly important to have someone that can be a beacon of hope, someone that can uplift you, someone that can speak to you in a storm. And again, I am so excited that she was happy to join the platform today to speak with you. She's actually going to answer some questions, just anything that any families are going through. I tell you, I just thank God for this opportunity. First and foremost, I definitely want to give all honor and praise to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without him, I am absolutely nothing. I told him this morning when I talked to him this morning when I got ready for the show, I said, Daddy, I am nothing without you, but I'm everything with you. And I don't want nothing to come out of my mouth that you don't have for me to say to your people. Because the great thing about God, I can attest to you as I was going through my season myself, dealing with a case that was, I just didn't understand it, and it's easy to get so frustrated and take out your frustration on yourself and others, but God is so faithful. When I tell you, listen, it has not been nothing that I have not been able to go through without God seeing me through it. So he is so faithful. And again, I want to acknowledge Attorney Vince for having this platform available for me. Now, he might not even know. I'm going to tell you, God timing is everything. Because years ago, when I was going through my same situation with the CPS, it was the same time that it was originally reached out to me, but it just seemed like some kind of way things just continued to happen to block that time. But you know why? Because that wasn't the time for it to happen. I do believe when you're out of season, that things can be a curse more than it can be or hindrance more than it can be a blessing. So God saw fit. He knew that this would be the time. Now he have brought me out. He have healed and delivered me. And I just give God all the glory and all the honor and all the praise, because I know the same thing that he do for me, he has no respect for a person that he won't do for his other children. So again, welcome to Beautifully Bruised and the CPS show. I am honored and privileged to be the host of this show. I thank God for this platform. I thank God for this opportunity. And again, I do want to say thank you to Attorney Vince for caring enough about people like myself to give them a place where they can vent, a place where they can learn, a place where they can grow. Because I do believe that iron sharpens iron. I do. Knowledge is power, and even it says in the word, without the lack of knowledge, people will perish. So that's how important that it is to know what you're really dealing with. I know a lot of people sometimes just not knowing really what CPS is, and they just, to me, that's how they get lost in it. They get caught up in something that they're not fully aware of the trueness of what it all consists of. And again, that's why I want to say I'm totally grateful for Attorney Vince. I'm grateful for Grace. She's actually the producer of the show. And Grace, I know she's watching. Hey, listen, Grace. Hey, girl, I wouldn't be able to move forward without your assistance. So I thank God for her heart, her spirit, and she's such a divine help. Even Miss G, what a great, honestly, a team of people that's educated, that has the experience, that has the skills, and most importantly, have a heart that want to help God's people. So again, I have so much to cover today, and I thought that it would be very effective. I thought it would be very beneficial to speak on caseworkers, because normally they are the ones that picks up that case when whatever the reason. If you got a call or an investigation, it could have been something that, you know, it could be something as far as someone could be upset at you. It can be an ex. It could be somebody that has strife against you. Someone know that just anything they can do to hinder you or your children, that they know CPS would normally be the ones to do something to start an investigation. I'm sorry, to come against you. And again, I'm not saying that all CPS cases are not valid, because unfortunately there are some where I'm sure you see the stories where you see mothers, fathers, caregivers, anyone that's the children in the care of, they are abusing their children. Unfortunately, you hear stories, I mean, all over the world, where you hear sad cases where children need to be rescued from these families. And again, and those type of cases, of course, obviously CPS, I do believe, is necessary, because children, we are sometimes the voice, the hands and feet for children when they can't speak up for themselves. So I do believe that it is necessary when you are dealing with those type of cases. Now, then again, I have also witnessed personally, as well as I have also observed some stories where it seems to be sometimes just parents just needing, just, maybe just not necessarily that they're unfit parents, but they may need a little help. For example, I do have a guest that's going to be joining us this coming Friday, and you actually want to stay tuned for that show as well. She is a very licensed, skilled, retired intaker that CPS had personally hired to help them handle loads of cases. I knew for a fact that when I met her the first time, that she was extremely sincere, and she has a heart for not only the parents, but for the children. I know for a fact she also had shared with me that, some of the things that she had to witness. So again, I want to let you know that our guest, Chantel Mosley, have joined us, and what a privilege. And I would just like to introduce Chantel. I just want to say that she was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. She's currently residing in Texas. Chantel has attained an Associate of Arts degree, a Bachelor of Science work, and a Master of Science in Marriage and Family Therapy. Praise God. She is a licensed associate marriage and family therapist in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She's a certified Texas contract manager, licensed life agent individual, licensed chemical dependency counselor intern. Okay, Chantel, when do you have time to sleep? I'm serious. Like, really, we have to talk. Okay. Also, she's a life coach. She's a licensed minister. Praise God. She's a prepared, enriched premarital counselor, a mother of 4, and a grandmother of 1. So Chantel, goal is to provide a voice for anyone that can't find theirs. Welcome, Chantel. I'm so excited that you're on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you want to go on and give us a little bit more about you, if you can't, I mean, listen, we already know a lot. I mean, as I said, when does she sleep? Okay. So, but anyway, I'm gonna let you take the floor, anything you want to share, and then I will go into some questions.
Okay. So, well, I see we're talking about CPS. Well, I'll just say this. I haven't always been that person, right? It had to be, it was an evolution.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I grew up in a home with dysfunction,
Mhm.
right? Didn't realize I was dysfunctional, right? Until I
I
started
think
working.
we all can say that in some kind of way.
Yeah. Until I started working with CPS. And I say that because some of the clients that I work with reminded me of myself in
Mm,
some way, right?
okay, right.
And I did not realize I I didn't realize I was living, foul, to say the least. Until like I will be working with caseworkers and they'll be like, this person is crazy. And I'm like, is that how they see me? Is that if they knew my behavior, is that how they you know what? So I always said I would never work for CPS, okay? I always
Okay.
said it. But I realized God used CPS for me to figure out me.
Wow.
right? For me to learn how to deal with myself.
That's good.
Because, like I said, I had been some of the places that those people had been. I
Right.
know how they got there, right?
Right.
So I wasn't in a position to judge them, right? Because how
Exactly.
could you judge, you
Correct.
know?
Right.
Um, and at first, when I went in there, I said, I'm gonna save everybody.
Right.
That didn't happen, okay? And I would get so frustrated. I would be like, I've been here. I know how you got here, right?
Right.
Why aren't you listening?
Correct.
Like, why aren't you listening? I done been there. Got out of it. And God spoke to me. He said,
That's good.
why didn't you listen to me?
Mm.
How you gonna get mad at them for not listening to you and you don't listen to me?
Listen, that right there, I know many people are listening and tuning in. I just think that's such a great nugget. I just felt that in my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes God will take us through as a test to reveal who we really are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not
Yeah.
saying that we're not capable or we're not fit, but sometimes we have to put that mirror back on us.
Right. Right.
I like that.
Right. Um, and I was frustrated. I was like, God, why? Like, why am I here?
Right.
And he was like, you need to learn how to deal with yourself. This is you. You
Wow.
may not be as deep into it as they were, but this is you.
Right. Oh,
Had
that's
it not been for me, this would be you.
oh, that's good. That's good. That is so good. Because see, you know what, Chantel, another reason why I want to bring you on is because of that, what you just said. People actually always thinking is, you know, it's bigger than us,
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not just about us, it's bigger than us. And I'm not going to interrupt you much longer because I want you to continue, but I just think that's so a valid statement because even with myself, when I went through my CPS case,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like, okay, God, I might not be what I'm saying? Like, but really, it's going to take this.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell you some things God will take you through, you have a whole new set of eyes.
And that's another thing. The process, Lord, the process. Jesus. I can't stand the process.
That part.
The process will break you down. Do you hear me?
Come on. You
But,
own it.
it's because he wants more from us,
Mhm.
and if we didn't go through that process, I told somebody the other day,
Wow.
the Israelites were in their 40 days and 40 with the Egyptians for 400 years, right?
Right, right,
And when he brought them out, he didn't bring them out through land, right?
right.
Because he knew the Egyptians would catch up with him, right? So
Mm,
he had to part the Red Sea to bring them through, right? See
Jesus.
that process, right?
You better say that.
And they complained that whole process.
Yeah.
But God had already had a plan to bring them out. It just wasn't the way they thought they were going to be brought out.
You better say it again. I mean, that you just said it right there. Oh my God. Oh my God.
But see, oftentimes we run from the process, right?
Mm,
Because we can't see what's going to happen in the end, right?
right.
Not knowing if we just go through that process, God will bring us through. Even if it's if it's a problem that we have created, He'll
Correct.
bring us through and He'll use it for His good. You see,
I'm sorry, I'm getting happy. Okay, keep going.
He's going to use our process for His good.
Jesus.
Okay,
Yes.
I have so much I could tell you. It's just
Oh, we listening. Trust me, you on many platforms through this show. We
um
listening.
like okay, when I lived in New Orleans, because I was raised in New Orleans,
Okay.
I always said I was moving to Dallas, right?
Right.
I didn't know how I was gonna get to Dallas, okay? I had no clue. All right, I was just saying I'm gonna move to Dallas, right?
Right.
Well, here come God with all his ideas.
I'm listening.
August the 30th, 2005, right?
Okay.
Hurricane Katrina was forecasted, right?
Right.
Me and my friend, we on the phone. I'm like, I'm not leaving, girl, because they always said we're having a hurricane. Ain't nothing gonna happen. I'm not leaving. I'm not. It's too much. I'm not doing it, right? So my friend said, girl, it looks bad. I think we gotta leave. So I said, okay, listen, if I find a hotel, I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
Called around because that was, we called them. We wasn't really on the internet. That was AOL days, right?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Mhm.
So I found one hotel room and I said, okay, it must be meant for me to leave, right? because
Right.
I had a 2-year-old. You know Kaya.
Oh
Kaya was
yeah.
2
Oh,
at the
she,
time.
oh
And that
wow.
was 17 years ago because she's
Oh
19.
wow. Yeah, of course. She just graduated. Okay.
So found a hotel, get on my computer on my AOL, do my MapQuest because we had
We have
uh,
none of this advanced technology like we do now.
right. I had to print out my directions, right? So we drove to Houston.
Uh-huh.
Fast forward, Katrina hits. We on the news, looking at the news. It was dry. I mean, it wasn't dry. It was wet, but it
Right.
wasn't bad at that time.
I know
So
what you
I
mean.
said,
Yeah.
okay, we'll be going home because we only bought 3 days worth of clothes, and I told my children this was gonna be our mini vacation because we was going back home.
Right. Oh, you plan to go back. Okay.
Yeah, I plan to go back.
You
Yeah,
did.
it was my plan. My plan. So turn on the TV again. The whole city is flooded.
Wow.
I lost my house, lost everything. Right.
Wow.
Well, before that, I'm gonna go back. I was working at CVS pharmacy, right? In a pharmacy, right?
Right. Okay.
9 to 5 job, right? In Kenner.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I liked my job, but it was a little stressful and it was vexing my nerves about my schedule, right? So I had an idea. Again, it was my idea. That I'm gonna leave this position, right?
Right.
A position opened up at a hospital, Oxygen Hospital in Metairie, right? It was 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, no weekends. It was a set schedule. Ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing about my schedule.
Okay. Yeah. Sound convenient. Yeah.
Okay. You heard that, huh? It sounds convenient, right? All right. So I had a going away party.
Mm-hmm.
The pharmacist was like, I don't know if you should do this. Warning number one, because warnings come before destruction.
Yeah,
That's
they do.
another story
Only that part. Absolutely.
though.
Correct.
Warning number one. I
Wow.
said, no, I got to get out of here. Y'all ain't gonna keep changing my schedule because I got kids and my kids come first.
Exactly.
The morning of, and she gave me a big part. The morning I was supposed to report for duty at the new job, she called me, Chantel, we will keep your schedule, okay? Give you a pay raise, okay? But you see, that was God, right? So I said, okay, I'm coming. I'll be late, but I'm coming. So I called
Yeah.
and told the other job I wasn't coming, right? So
Right.
fast forward to Katrina.
See.
I'm out here in Houston. Um, Water everywhere. I lost my house, right? Don't know what I'm gonna do. At this point, my mind is just like, Lord, what is going on, Jesus? What is going on?
Wow.
This can't be real because we only had one card at the time, and everything in Texas is spread out,
It
right?
spread. Yes. Way out. Yes.
So we start looking for somewhere to live, temporarily because I think I'm going back home, right? I
Right.
tried everything to go back home,
Right.
okay? It
You still
wasn't my intention
got.
to
Uh-huh.
stay in Texas, okay? But God shut every door, okay? So I get on the phone with my job, CVS Pharmacy, the one I was trying to leave, remember?
Right.
So they said, oh, well, just go to another CVS there in Texas. Since you was still working with the company, you could just transfer on over there. But had I left CVS and gone to Auction, the job that I wanted, me, the
Yeah.
one I
Yeah.
wanted,
Right. You. Uh-huh.
uh-huh. Auction is out in Texas, right? I wouldn't have had a job to transfer to. So
Opposite.
I said all that to say, God already knew what was going to happen, right?
You
He
did.
had already had it planned out.
Mhm.
Even though I wasn't a part, I didn't know about the plan.
Right. He don't normally always include us too. That's
Right. And I was like, and I had said I wanted a new house, right? I didn't
you
say I
did,
wanted it in Texas.
but you.
And but I got a new house. And after that, I told him, I said, we got to work on our communication because.
Hey, you asked for a meeting.
Yeah, I asked for a meeting. We got to work on our communication because something not adding up.
I'm missing out on something.
Yeah, we could have done that a little bit differently, but you know,
Exactly.
um, so that process, I
Mm.
had suicidal thoughts. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to be here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They didn't want us here. Okay,
Good.
remember they called us refugees. I'm not a refugee.
I do remember I remember it on the news as as you was watching the storm and they was transporting, yeah, refugees. That was the name. I did hear that. You're
hmm
right.
hmm
Hmm.
I'm not a refugee. I lived in New Orleans. I lived in the United States. I'm
Right.
not a refugee.
Exactly.
The
Wow.
CVS they transferred me to, I was working a night shift. Remember, we didn't have but one car. I had to go pick up the kid. It was stressful, Trick. I had suicidal thoughts. I was like, God, you got to do something.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You got to fix this, right?
I
I'm
love
at my wits end.
transparency. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
at my wits end.
It's good.
Um, we were just it was just horrible at first. Okay, he
Wow.
said okay. So in 2006, I bought me a house, right? So
Right.
things started, getting a little
Get
bit
back
better.
up. Right.
But I said it all today, I would not have what I have now had I stayed in New Orleans, right?
Wow.
I didn't have a degree in New Orleans. I had gone to school, I had a bunch of credits, but I never finished
You
anything.
never completed it. Right.
I
Wow.
had a
I never
964
knew this. So this is oh, go ahead.
I had a 964 square foot house in New Orleans, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here, the house that we bought was 2816 square feet.
Now
Right.
tell me who else could have turned that into what you have now.
Right. I have an associate's degree.
Ooh, come on.
I got that in 2006, I think,
Mm-hmm.
right after 2007, 2008. So about
Okay.
3 years after Katrina.
Come on.
2010, I got my bachelor's of social work. In 2017, I got my master's in marriage and family therapy.
My God.
So whoever out there, I don't know who it is, but you're going through a process,
Jesus. Yes, Lord.
and it feel like it's gonna break you, right?
Mm-hmm. This
But
is
in that breaking, it's what's gonna bring forth God's promise,
oh my.
right?
Right.
It only lasts for a moment, I promise you.
That's right.
Because I thought it was when I was going through it, I thought it
You
wasn't
like
going
it
to end,
forever.
right?
Right. Exactly. Never ending. Exactly.
But now that I look back, but you see, you gotta look back
Yeah.
and see where you came from, and
Yeah.
you saw and I saw the process. I'm like, my God, He took me from there because He knew
Mm.
I had more in me than what I was doing there, right?
Mm. Yes, absolutely.
And it was necessary,
And it was necessary.
right?
And I like that you shared that sometimes God has to take you through the process because we will become so complacent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If he don't like take us into something outside of our comfort zone, we will continue to go on with life and really missing out on what God has for us. I
Yes,
mean, like they say in the word, God ways are not like our ways. His thoughts are
that's
not
right.
like our thoughts. And we can easily just think that we're doing our 9 to 5s and just, this is all that God has for us. But God has so much more in store.
That's right.
I mean, he does. I mean, I can assure you that I've never been a type of person. I'm not telling you none of my business, because especially not the bad business, like things you want. You say I'm gonna take this from me to my grave, okay?
Uh,
So, but God, when He took me through this CPS stuff, and He was like, you know what? I want you to write about that, and I'm like, who?
Look, you know, I've always known that I was supposed to be a minister.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
he told me, and I told him I wasn't doing it. I'm not doing that. Who wants to do that? What? I'm not doing that. I was having fun. Okay, I loved my life. Okay, living wild. Okay,
Oh my
I'm just being honest.
Hey, that's what I want you to be. I'm telling
Okay.
you, transparency transforms. But that's the truth. And people need to know this because I think that what I'm seeing and what I've been knowing Chantel for years. Our children
Mhm.
have grown up together. And I'm telling you, I know what the stigma with CPS is such, and I get it, image of just everybody's just out against me. They don't care. And I'm not saying that they're not caseworkers who are not like that, but it was refreshing to me to find someone that actually has a heart for God,
Mhm.
that has personally went through some of the exact same things that we have all went through or currently going through or going to go through,
Mhm.
that because when it's personal you connect to it differently.
Right. Right. And not all CPS workers are bad. Right.
Okay, great.
Most
That's
of them are not. They
okay.
don't understand that we fight for you in the end,
Okay.
in the
Yeah,
background.
right.
Um, and when we tell you something, we're telling you the truth.
Okay.
Like if I say, I need you to do this class,
Mm-hmm.
and such and such is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen.
Right. Let me
Just
ask
don't
you
ask
that.
me.
I'm just gonna put I just want to reiterate on that question because I had a few questions that a few I'm gonna try to get in. I mean,
Okay.
this is so great. I almost don't want to, time is going by so fast. But um, is it possible? Because again, a caseworker like yourself obviously has integrity, has the
Mhm.
heart of God, that really want to see, your clients get to a place where they can need to be, where they can be successful with their children.
Mhm.
But if you do encounter some people that may not have that opportunity to have a caseworker like yourself, and
Mhm.
that they do feel that things are maybe not being handled correctly, is there a way that they can voice that? I mean, is it, because I've heard before that, sometimes they believe, and I've even seen, but I wasn't sure, that caseworkers might try to retaliate if you do speak up for yourself. So is there a way, if they don't have a caseworker that's working out of integrity like yourself, or have the right intentions, that they can speak up regarding that?
I will call a supervisor. But
Call
sometimes it looks like retaliation. We
Right.
have to bring everything to the higher ups, right?
Okay.
And we could fight for you as much as we want,
Right.
but we have to do what the higher ups say.
Deal with the hires up, go to a supervisor. Okay. Okay.
So most times it's not even our decision. You
Mm,
may not like what we're telling you, but we have to take it to somebody else, and they tell us
what to do.
what to do.
That's a nugget,
Right?
another nugget that people
Whether we agree with it or not.
mm,
Does that make sense? I
makes
have to
a lot of
still
sense.
tell you.
You have what? Say that again, Chantel. I'm
I
sorry.
have to still tell you the
Right.
directive, even though I may not agree with it,
Right.
but I have to.
Still abide by what authority have told you. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Now that is good to know. But like you said, that normally when you, because I know in my experience, I've never done drugs in my entire life, but I guess what was called in, or whatever, they felt that was needed, they wanted me to get tested on a pretty much regular basis. Now I just know this is something that they require, and I know I've never done drugs before,
Mhm.
so I did it.
Mhm.
I did it. And that's something that I think is important to share as well, because, you have some, I've heard some parents say, well, I'm not taking those, what they're telling me to do.
Mhm.
So how important is it to do, when they are services, or, safety, is it the safety plan or whatever that's
Mhm.
been, advised to do? How important is it to do what your caseworker is telling you to do?
It's very important. Just do it.
Just do it.
And that's what I tell people. This may be God's way of getting your attention.
That's
Okay.
that's good.
This may be His way of teaching you what you need to have for where you're going.
Mm,
Don't look at everything as a negative.
right. That's so good. That's so
You
good.
may have you may be going through something not realizing that you need counseling. And
Right.
here we are giving you free counseling. You know how many people would want free counseling?
Correct. And this world we're living in today,
So don't always take it as a negative.
that's a negative. Right. Right. That's good. That's so
Take
good.
an opportunity to learn from it. Do it because it'll better you and your child.
That's right.
And it's not about take yourself out of it. It's not even about you. It's about the baby.
That's right. Now, with that being said, if you just like what you're advising, and I say the same thing, because I feel like if you don't necessarily have anything to hide, even though it might be inconvenient to your life or at the time, but if it's going to help you get your children back,
Mhm.
if it's going to help you build that bond, or like you say, maybe some things that you are dealing with that you're not aware of,
Mhm.
and it can help you, you know what I'm saying, be more mindful of what you may not know about yourself, and you become more aware. So if a person is still completely resistant, um, is completely resistant. Okay, we just had someone that has said something. I love this, love the name. Oh, thank you, Misha, for watching. Thank you so much. But if you have someone, Chantel, that is continuously being resistant and won't do it just for the sake of pride,
Mhm.
what would that count against them when it goes
Oh
to
yeah.
court?
And
Oh,
that shows me what type of person you are.
so they look at your character as well.
Your character. Uh-huh.
Mm,
It says a lot about your character.
wow. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so what we thought about you is pretty much true.
That's good. Share that.
Because you're standing on principle, but you're not worried about your child. Because this is about your child. It's
Right.
okay to stand on principle, but you need to know when to stand on principle.
You need to know when to stand on principle. I love that, because I watched Attorney Vince, and he did share with one of the families that was dealing with a CPS case. He
Mhm.
shared and said, and they were kind of passive almost, like,
Mhm.
well, I might do it, I might not. And he was like, do you realize this is a lawsuit of your lifetime?
Mhm.
This is something that can change the trajectory of you getting your children, your legacy, who
Mhm.
you've given birth to, who you've raised, who you've sacrificed for.
Mhm.
So this is not the time to be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, should I
Yeah,
do it or not? And he was like, you need to do it if you want your children.
right. And people don't understand that.
Wow.
They don't understand that. This
Wow.
is not about you. Take you out of it,
Take you out of the equation. Okay.
right? But
Okay.
I find oftentimes, and people don't understand this, the way we parent as parents is a direct reflection of how we were parented, either good or bad,
That's so good. That's so good.
right?
Say that. Hmm.
So if your mother was kind of like wishy-washy, then you would be either overly
Right.
wishy-washy, or
Mhm.
you'll be non just
Not
nonchalant.
yes, oh wow. So it is, it's a mirror. It really helps you even see stuff in yourself that you might not even been aware of.
Right. And that's what most people with CPS is dealing with trauma, right?
Right.
Trauma that they don't realize that they have from childhood. And they don't realize that it's affecting them in adulthood. That's all it is. And
Wow.
once you identify that and you identify why
Hmm.
I'm doing the things I'm doing, why I keep getting into the same pattern of the same people
Hmm.
that I get with,
Hmm.
you could change that, right?
Wow.
Because until you identify, hey, I'm dysfunctional,
Right.
right? Is
Right.
it work? Has it really worked for me? If CPS is continually in my life, or if I have people continually calling me on me, because if I had the right group of people, if I was around the right group of people, would they be calling in on me,
Right. Oh, that's good.
right? So
Good.
that says something about your boundaries, right?
It does. That is so good. That is so good. So,
So
okay, I'm listening.
go ahead.
Well, I just want to just you know, gosh, that is so good because I used to wonder, why are these services in place? Is this something, and I'm going to share it because this could be something else, something that others that are watching may have the same question. Because I was thinking, like, are they just putting you through all these classes and all these services just to keep you busy and occupied, where they really are just trying to build up something to completely take the children away from you? Almost like busy work, just
Mm-mm.
giving you something to keep you complacent while they're really uh doing something behind the table that, to help them get the child. But
Mhm.
you're making me understand that no, we're advising you of these type of services to help you not only now but even in the long run, in the
Mhm.
future,
Yes.
to
Yes.
become healthy and to have those healthy boundaries for you
So
and
we don't come back into your life. We
co-
don't want to be there.
correct.
Our goal is to get you healthy, so we don't ever have to see you again.
Okay,
Respectfully,
I know what you mean.
and
She's
that's what I used to tell my
very
client.
obviously real, very
I used to tell my client, I don't want you. I don't want to be here. I'm not coming over here because you invited me to dinner. I'm coming over here because something happened. So let's fix that so you don't have to see me again. That's all.
right.
Like I called you on the phone and said, hey, can I? Can I? No, it's not a social call.
Okay. Okay. We get it. Yeah. Thank you. Well, again, I just think knowledge is power. I mean, seriously, it is, because I think if you better understand why you're doing something, it's
Hmm.
easier to do it.
Right. Yes. But see, a lot of people, oh, I'm fine. No, you're not.
Right.
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 And I can understand why they would be hesitant to believe that they're
Right.
dysfunctional.
Of course. Of
Who
course.
wants to hear somebody come in and say, you need to change your lifestyle?
Right.
This, you're dysfunctional.
Right.
Nobody wants to hear that, right?
Hmm.
And I wouldn't have wanted to hear it either, right? Like I
Me
told you,
neither.
I
Right.
had to have an awakening to
Right.
realize that I was dysfunctional. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. It does.
So it has to be their process, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Even by you saying that, I do believe God has a sense of humor. because back in my family and friends, I got, and I still do. I love film and I love theater.
Mhm.
And I used to think, like you said, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to do some TV work because that's what I
Mhm.
said I was going to do. Okay. For me,
Yeah.
for me go again. But
Mhm.
I never knew. God said, oh, okay, really.
Mhm.
But what he ended up doing is he took me so far down and dealing with let me rephrase that. Sometimes he has to take you down for you to
To
look
build you back up.
to build you back up. And me
You
going
gotta
on
strip away all that muck that's on you, you
there,
know.
that one right there. There you go.
Mhm.
Muck and everything else, A to Z in between.
Mhm.
So with that being said, now I never thought, that God would use pain to turn it into beauty.
Yes, he will.
He really will.
Yes,
So
he
he would turn
will.
pain into power. How those type of definitions, because I always liked theater and television. And I
Mhm.
even love speaking to people and helping people. I truly do. But again, I thought I was going to be doing it on NBC Studios or Fox NBC 21 network. But
Mhm.
but God say, no, I'm gonna have you in a ministry right here. This your
Mhm.
network right here.
Jeremiah 29:11. For I know that the plans I have for you, declares the Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future.
In the
Right?
future. My God.
No matter what you think, it's his plans.
It's
I know the plans I have for you,
Mhm.
declares the
Yeah.
Lord.
Yes.
Not the plans you have for yourself.
So anyway, here I am. Not to be rude, but I am working with people.
Uh-huh.
I am working with people for
And you're doing film.
and film with the kingdom.
Right.
You gonna do it, but you gonna do it through me.
Right. Right. Right.
But
Right.
you know what? Honestly, as the world we're living in today, seriously, with so much going on, Chantel, I wouldn't want it any other way. Can you imagine living in this world without knowing Christ?
No, I can't. I can't.
I mean, seriously, like it's almost scary to even think about it. So I'm glad that he saw both of us fit,
Mm-hmm.
where he can trust us to go through the process, to go through the fire, to keep the faith. Because when you're going through, because like even with CPS, it might feel like I'm not going to say it's not personal, because like you said, sometimes God will use CPS investigations and cases to help us identify who we are,
Right.
to make us better. It can be a mirror, not, but the beauty of that, even, and I just have to say this as well, you might not want to go through it because it's painful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It can be a painful process, but the good news about it is God is not going to take you through something that he's not going to bring you out of.
That's right. And also the other part of that is warnings come before destruction. So before you get to that point of that investigation,
Yes.
God will send you some warnings. Okay, you need to slow down. That's
Mm,
the first one.
mm,
Oh, I'm gonna knock you upside your head now. You need to slow down, right?
mm. Right.
Then that third one, he go, I just told you to slow down. And then that's when the investigation comes because you're not listening.
You're not listening. And he will get what he wants, no matter how he get it.
Right.
You know what? And with that being said, and Tom, oh my God, it's this, oh my goodness. I'm serious. Like, this is so much plethora of information that's so useful, and I know that's going to be helpful for so many people. So I want to ask you some questions that I received while we have time. And
Okay.
again, I'm going to have to bring you back on another segment. If
Okay.
your
That's fine.
schedule allows it. Okay, great. Because again, like I say, we're honored to have Chantel Mosley. She is a seasoned CPS caseworker. She's also a family counselor,
Yes. Marriage and family therapy.
marriage and family counselor, as well as she's also a minister, and a
Mhm.
plethora of so many other gifts and talents she has. So this is why she's on the show today, to help people that are going through CPS cases, that may know someone that's going through CPS cases, and actually to learn, so you don't have to be a person that has to go through CPS as well, because we're going to be reaching all kind of markets and networks and platforms. So we're wanting to spread this abroad to as many people as we possibly can.
Now I will say this also. If you're smoking cigarettes, it don't matter. Are you drinking a lot? You're not fine. Okay. So
Okay.
maybe some anxiety there. So deal with that before. And when we do the assessment, we ask you those questions, so we know
Oh, you
you're
do.
not lying.
That's good. That's good. Because I do have a question, since you mentioned that. Um,
Oh, and I am a former seasoned caseworker. I'm a contractor now, but I
what does
work
that mean so people will know?
I work in contracts. I go over contracts for facilities that are with the agency.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
And how long have you been working with CPS? I know it's been a while. So
2011.
since 2011, so it's been some
Mhm.
years. So obviously, you know, much experience is coming forth, much knowledge is being shared to help
Mhm.
you be prepared for what you need to know dealing with CPS. I'm going to go ahead and go to one of the questions that was presented, Chantel.
Mhm.
Um, this question is, does CPS hold the expectations that you thought that they would when you first entered into the field?
Well, to be honest, I didn't want to work for CPS.
You did say that.
Started working for CPS to get experience.
Okay.
Um, and God said, and his ultimate plan was that I worked for CPS because, he's the one that put the idea in my head to think I was getting experience, right?
Right.
Um, so I didn't have any expectations. Well, um, I had expectations that it was bad. They were all bad people, right?
Because that's the
And
stigma. Yeah.
and that's not what I found. I
Okay.
actually miss my clients,
Oh,
like,
wow.
you know, um, because they were just real people.
Real people. Yeah.
Real
It's
people.
yeah, going on with their lives and
Hmm.
life happens. Absolutely. With that being said, I remember years ago when I was dealing with what I was dealing with, and at the time, you're caught up in your emotions, and you just, just going through so much mentally and emotionally, you know, just a lot going on your plate at the time.
Hmm.
And I remember, I think I asked the question was, I don't know if you remember, but it was years ago. I had asked you, I said, well, how can you do this type of work and knowing that this is happening to people? But I remember that you said that Trika, I do see the darkness, but someone has to be the light.
Yes, yes.
And for me, that spoke volume.
Hmm.
It
Yeah, because
brought,
I'm not there to do any harm. Because how can I judge you when I could have been where you are?
mm, mm,
Right? It could have been me. You know
right.
that song "Thank You" by
Yeah.
Hezekiah Walker. Thank you. It could have been me.
That
It could
song
have
right
been me.
there. Yes. I love that song because it's real. It could happen to any one of us.
Hmm.
Any one of us. That is
Right. So who am I to judge?
that one right there. And I think to me, that is what brings reassurance because when you meet someone and they give you that, that have that I'm not here to judge you, I'm here to help you, but just
Hmm.
allow me to do so, you know.
Right.
Um, okay, and with that being said, I'm going to ask you the next question that was presented. What are the resources that are available to the clients when they're, dealing with CPS cases?
Parenting classes, counseling, drug and alcohol classes, life coaching classes, play therapy for the kids.
Okay.
Sometimes daycare. I don't know about that now because, like I said, I've been out of it for 3 years.
Okay.
Um, so that was back in the day they would provide that, but I'm not sure about that now. But
Okay.
yeah, pretty much, you know,
Okay. Okay. The next question is asking, what should parents know when CPS comes to their home, their house, their home?
don't lie because we could tell when you lie,
Okay.
you know, um, and just be open
Right.
and talk, explain. Don't, because it's going to come out, right?
It's going to
Don't
be
make it look for you. It's going to make it worse.
okay. Just be honest.
Be honest.
Okay. But I do want to piggyback on that question because I've heard someone say that they were honest, but they said that they felt like by being honest, that particular caseworker used it against them, and they kind of switched their words around. So, I mean, I still would think honesty is the best way. But if you're, but can it be a hindrance to you if you're too honest? If that makes sense.
Well, I ain't say give you whole life history, but Tell what happened with that situation.
Okay, gotcha. Right. Just have a okay. I'm leaving what you said. Okay, moving on. All right. Okay. This is a question that was also presented. What would you recommend, or how should you handle someone? We might have kind of tapped on this earlier that may have received a CPS call or investigation that was done out of spite from an ex or ex girlfriend, ex boyfriend, anything of that nature. Like if you see that this is actually done out of someone just
We
angry at
we
you.
know when it's out of spite, but we
Oh,
still have to go through the process.
okay.
We can tell
I
with,
didn't know that.
with
Okay.
yeah,
That's
we can tell. I mean, I could tell
okay. Because you've
when
been,
I get a,
yeah.
but I still have to go through the process. I still have to talk to you. I still have to interview the kids. So
Mhm.
just let the process play out, right?
That's good. That's good. Still
Because again, it's
don't
the process,
refuse. Just go ahead.
right? It's the
Okay.
process, right?
Okay.
But then that shows you about your boundaries, right? Because those are people you don't need to have in your life.
Right. Ah. Hmm.
So, like I said, God does things to show us, right?
Oh my God. Don't start nothing.
So that goes to show you. He showed you, okay, well, somebody called in on you, right? So who do you have around you that would be that spiteful, right? If they're that spiteful, why you have them around you,
Why they
right?
in your picture? Right.
Because
Absolutely.
he probably warned you in the first place.
Oh my God.
Because you know warnings come before destruction.
Yes, they do.
He probably said, okay, this person is not right. But you, no, yeah, okay.
You know, why do I want to say ouch? But I'm going to the next question. I think you stepped on my toe right there, but let me keep on going.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
And not you getting slapped upside your head, you're mad. Hey, you're mad.
Okay, let me go. But these are real questions. These are
Mhm,
real conversations that affects everybody. It really is a revealer. You
mhm.
know, it is a revealer of who you are, who you're allowing in your life around your kids.
Exactly. And let me make this disclaimer. This is not CPS talking. This is Chantel.
Okay.
Stop letting them men watch your children.
Mm,
Just because they like you don't mean they like your children.
well,
Okay? Stop it.
then that's a nugget. That is a nugget. Oh my God. And I don't know, just hearing what you just said, I know that that is going to, somebody's going to hear that and be like, you know what? She's right.
Yes. Stop it.
Because they can be the one, it's not necessarily what you're doing, but it's the type of company you're keeping.
Right. Right. That's
That,
not your daddy. There. Okay. Go to therapy, deal with it. Okay.
that's
Deal
good.
with it.
That's so good. That's so good.
I just want love. I want that everything is not good love. Okay.
Everything's not all love isn't good. All
Love
gold,
yourself
not
first.
right.
Yourself first. Right.
Right.
When you can first love yourself, you can love anybody else.
Oh,
I
that's
had
so
to go through that process too.
really
I didn't like to be by well, I'm an only child, but I got tired of being by myself, right? But
right.
now, child, I could be in the room by myself, don't have to have the TV on, be fine.
Right. That's so good, Chantel, because I actually, I mean, and I know you know by you being a CPS caseworker, but that a lot of times that the kids are taken because of the choices that they're making in their
Hmm.
spouses or their relationship
Hmm.
that is causing toxic relationship is causing them to
Hmm.
lose their children. Oh my God.
Hmm. Hmm.
And God will use that to wake you up to say, hey, you need to clean house.
Right.
It's not the person I have for you.
Mm. Child, I got a story about that one too. But we
I told you I'm going to have to bring you back on because we are almost out of time. My God, my God. I mean, this has been such a blessing for me, and I'm sure as well as so many other people that are actually going through cases with CPS. I do want to ask this one question before I ask you to close out with what you want to share. But
okay.
the very last question I would like to ask you is, what do you enjoy about being a CPS caseworker and everything else that you're doing in your career
Uh,
in your life?
helping people, right?
Okay.
Helping them to realize just because you're living in dysfunction, you've been molested, domestic violence, whatever. It doesn't make you a bad person, right? You made a mistake at that. You made a mistake.
Right.
We all make mistakes,
We do. We do.
but we can evolve from that. We can learn from that, and you can use it in
Yeah.
it. to help
That's
somebody else,
a moment.
right? Just to
Absolutely.
give them a voice,
Absolutely.
because
That,
some of them have lost their voice, right?
hmm
We have so many women, I think, that have grown up fatherless, so they
Right.
don't know how a man should treat, right? I had to learn that myself.
This is
So
good.
I'm not coming for nobody. I'm just,
You're just being transparent, and that's what we like. Yes, that's how we.
um,
Hmm.
and so they make the wrong decisions with these men, right? And it leads them down a path, right?
Right.
Um, and I just want them to realize that you are worthy, you are enough.
You are.
Um, don't be with anybody that abuses you or your child, for God's sake. Um,
Don't do that. You're right.
no. Um, love yourself, right? Go
Right.
to counseling.
Right.
Counseling is not bad. Counseling does not mean you're crazy.
That's right.
Counseling is there to help you, to
Right.
sort out that childhood that you survived, right?
That's so
And
good.
to help you come out of survival mode, because most of these people are still in survival mode, fight or flight, right?
You serious.
And they don't realize it.
Wow. Wow.
And those fight or flight responses is why we get into trouble, because
Mm.
it's either fight or flight, right?
Yes.
Or in between,
The trauma, the
right?
drama. Yes.
Mhm.
Oh my God, that is so good. So, with that being said, would that, to me, would that be something that you would also, if you have to give any type of advice to someone that's dealing with the CPS case currently, or know someone that is, or want to try to avoid becoming a victim of a CPS case themselves,
Mhm.
is that the advice that you would give, or is it something you would like to elaborate even more on?
Work on yourself,
Okay,
right?
right,
Because even if it's a false case, there's something else going on, right?
right,
That you're aligning yourself with people that
right,
will do that,
right, right,
right?
right,
So what's going on?
right. That mirror
What are
again.
you, what are you seeking, right?
Mm,
What are you wanting? What are you yearning for? What are you trying to get from others that you should be getting from yourself,
that part.
right?
Right.
And what I will lastly say is, people can't give us what they don't have,
Mm,
right?
right.
I always, I told them, I said, say you ask your uncle for $100, right?
Right.
He only has 70, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gives you that 70, but you're $30 short.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So that leaves you still not full, not feeling fulfilled, right?
Right.
So you can either say, okay, I'm gonna accept what he can give me and
Mm-hmm.
stop trying to get more out of the relationship. Or you could say, okay, this is not fulfilling to me. So I need to move on.
Right.
But you can't demand more than what he could give you,
Mm.
right?
Because maybe it's outside of their capacity.
That's right, right? He
Yeah.
can't give you what he doesn't have.
It doesn't have you read, you said what was on my mind. Absolutely. Oh God, that is so good. That is so, so good. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I had to process that because I just know, it just helps to, my God, like people can be just so burdened down with all this stress and all these things they're dealing with. But if they can just take some time to just, just quiet their thoughts.
Hmm. And see, most people think for the future. Think in the present, one
Mm.
day at a time.
One day at a time. One day at a time. Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Live in the moment.
you say live in the moment.
Live in the moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I am, goodness. Okay. This has been such a great experience that I am so honored that you decided to join us today, Chantel, on this platform, Beautifully Bruised in the CPS show. You have dropped so many gems and nuggets that I know people can listen to and replay back because, again, this can be seen all over throughout the United States. And I just believe that transparency transforms, that
Yeah.
iron truly do sharpens iron. So we have Chantel Mosley, which is a CPS caseworker, seasoned CPS caseworker that is also a ordained minister who's also a family licensed counselor. So she
Hmm.
has so many gosh, gifts and talents and just skills and experience that can help people that are dealing with this situation like I once have. I think you said to a certain extent you have dealt with things God revealed to you,
Mhm.
and that's why I think He's using you in such a mighty way.
Mhm.
So to
Mhm.
God be the glory. I do believe
Yes.
you put God first,
Mhm.
and you, like you said, work on yourself, self care.
Yes,
Use
ma'am.
this as an opportunity to better yourself, to reveal who you are. Maybe God needs you to make some adjustments,
Mhm.
and then once He see that that's done, then He's ready to go ahead and use you just as well. So
Mhm.
this is not the final answer. It might be a comma, but it's not a
Right.
period.
Right.
So
Delay does not mean denial. It just means delay.
that one, that part, absolutely.
Mhm.
Again, I'm so grateful, Chantel. Thank you for joining us on this show. We're going to have to bring you back in
Yes.
the future for sure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you again.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you guys for watching the segment and have a blessed day. Thank you. Bye bye.